In a stunning pivot, Russia has extended an olive branch to Palestine, citing grave injustice in Israel's treatment of Palestinians and settlement expansion. With this surprise alliance, Vladimir Putin aims to boost Russia's role in Middle East peace talks. But is this a genuine attempt at diplomacy, or does the Kremlin have ulterior motives? In the complex stance between Russia and the Israel-Hamas conflict, Moscow finds itself treading carefully. Russia's aim is clear: an immediate end to the violence without casting blame on any side. And today, we bring you a surprising twist in this narrative. Russia finally joins hands with Palestine. This development comes directly from President Vladimir Putin, who attributes the conflict to the failure of establishing a sovereign state in Palestine, citing United Nations resolutions and labeling it a grave injustice. He also puts out that Israel's settlement activities have exacerbated the problem. However, before we delve further into this development, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon to stay updated with our informative videos. Russia's cautious approach can be traced back to its long-standing relationships with Israel, Palestine, and various regional actors. It also reflects the Kremlin's ambition to enhance its influence in the Middle East by facilitating peace talks. Moreover, Russia is attempting to spotlight the conflicts as a critique of US policy, with the hope of diverting attention away from Washington and its allies' continued military support to Ukraine. As we move forward, let's highlight some key dates in this complex situation. On October 25th, 2023, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz attended a cabinet meeting in Berlin, Germany. In another significant event, Oleg Orlov, a board member of the International Historical Education Charitable and Human Rights Society Memorial, was fined approximately $1,500 in a court session in Moscow, Russia, on October 11, 2023. Orlov, co-chair of the Human Rights Organization Memorial, which has won the Nobel Peace Prize, faced charges related to discrediting the Russian military due to his critique of Russia's actions in Ukraine. And on September 13, 2023, in the Wien Cosmodrome outside the city of Tchaikovsky, some 200 kilometers from the city of Bovins in the far eastern Amur regions of Russia, a human rights advocate who had criticized the war in Ukraine faced fines imposed by Russian authorities. Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un shook hands on Monday, September 25th. North Korea strongly criticized South Korean President Moon Jae-in, referring to him as a diplomatic idiot and someone with a trash-like brain. This criticism came after Moon's speech at the United Nations, where he expressed concerns about North Korea's growing military relations with Russia. There is the belief among some think tanks that the increased rail traffic along the North Korea-Russia border indicates that Russia is receiving military supplies from North Korea. This raises questions about Russia's involvement in the ongoing conflicts. President Putin attributed the conflict to what he perceived as the failure of Washington's peace efforts. He accused the United States of concentrating on providing financial aid to the Palestinians while overlooking their fundamental statehood-related concerns. Putin emphasized the need to swiftly end the conflict and called on both the Israeli government and Hamas to avoid targeting civilians, as any escalation could have serious consequences. Moscow is trying to maintain positive relations with both Israel and Palestinians, as evident from the carefully chosen words of Putin and his spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov. Peskov emphasized the importance of Russia taking a balanced approach to communicate with both sides, with the hope of facilitating a resolution. Russia is positioning itself as a potential mediator, while also hoping that the ongoing conflict will divert attention away from the Ukrainian crisis and eventually weaken Western support for Ukraine. Dmitry Peskov also made a sarcastic comment about Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, suggesting that he might be envious of the United States' current focus on providing military support to Israel. To understand how Moscow's Middle East policy has evolved, it's essential to consider its historical context. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union supported the Palestinians and their Arab allies diplomatically and militarily as they opposed Israel. However, just before the USSR's collapse in 1991, diplomatic ties with Israel were severed. After the Soviet Union's dissolution, Moscow experienced political unrest and economic challenges, leading to a period of internal focus. Vladimir Putin, upon assuming power, worked to rebuild Russia's long-standing Middle Eastern relationships while maintaining close ties with Israel. Russia later joined the United States, the European Union, and the United Nations as one of the 4 mediators in the Middle East. However, it played a less active role in these efforts compared to the United States, in part to support President Bashar al-Assad in Syria. This comprehensive overview provides a deeper understanding of the dynamics involving Russia, North Korea, Israel, Palestine, and the ongoing conflicts in the region. The intricacies of Russia's relationship with Israel are nothing short of a geopolitical puzzle. It all began in 2015 during the turbulent times of the Syrian civil war when Moscow and Tehran decided to join forces. They dispatched troops and bombers to Syria, providing crucial support that allowed Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, a long-standing friend of Russia, to reclaim a substantial portion of his country. This bold move not only secured Assad's grip on power, but also elevated Russia's influence in the tumultuous Middle East. The saga between Russia and Israel has undergone a remarkable transformation since the fall of the Soviet Union. Both nations have deepened their economic and security bonds, and there's a fascinating twist in this tale. Over 1 million individuals from Russia and other former Soviet states have chosen to make Israel their new home. This mass migration is seen as a pivotal factor in solidifying the ties between these nations. Despite occasional Israeli actions targeting Iranian forces operating alongside Russian troops in Syria, the relationship between Moscow and Tel Aviv held firm during Russia's involvement in the region. Yet, a dark cloud briefly shrouded their alliance in 2018 when Assad's forces mistakenly downed a Russian reconnaissance aircraft in response to an Israeli airstrike, resulting in the tragic loss of all 15 souls on board. While Russian and Israeli military forces maintained communication channels to prevent such incidents, this one unfortunate event did strain their rapport. The Russian-Israeli connection has faced its share of significant challenges, especially stemming from President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. This event put a strain on Moscow's diplomatic ties with various nations, including Israel, as they navigated the intricate maze of their alliances and regional interests. The story of Russia and Israel, like many in the realm of international politics, is a tale of intricate relationships, bold moves, and unexpected twists. The history of Russian-Palestinian ties dates back to the Cold War, when Moscow was the principal ally of the Palestinians, offering military, economic, and political support. These connections were somewhat neglected after the fall of the Soviet Union, but Putin has taken steps to rekindle these bonds, with several high-profile meetings with Palestinian leaders. Additionally, Russia and Iran have developed a close relationship since the end of the Cold War, as Iran's tensions with the West escalated. Moscow assisted in the construction of Iran's first nuclear power facility and collaborated with Iran during the Syrian conflict. This partnership has even included the exchange of drone technology. Moreover, Russia has strengthened its ties with Saudi Arabia, despite their differing positions during the Syrian conflict. Putin's personal relationship with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has enabled collaboration on various fronts, including agreements to stabilize oil prices. It's important to note that Russia's actions on the global stage are seen by some as attempts to create diversions and pressure points to deflect Western attention and resources away from Ukraine. Putin's intentions in the Middle East are complex and multifaceted, as he seeks to shape events on the global stage.